Hey, everybody in Roll Tide. Luke Robinson here. It sure would have been nice to talk about a win we could enjoy. Let me get situated here best I can. That was very difficult to enjoy. Just not a good win. Any win is a good win, but that was tough. That was tough to watch on a lot of levels. Look, I'll say it again. We're going to keep getting this from Jalen Milroe. And I'm not laying all the blame of the whole thing at his feet. I mean, we ended up winning, and he made some unbelievable plays. But in the second half, when he started really missing players, I mean, he was missing the heck out of them. It was brutal. Isaiah Bond probably scores on a little crossing route, but he throws it high and a little behind him. And it just wasn't pretty. It just wasn't good. The offensive line, again, struggled mightily. We gave up 5 sacks to Arkansas, y'all. We're giving up 5 sacks a game. 5 sacks a game. Thank God Dallas Turner got in there and got a big sack late. That's what big-time players do. Amari Knobloch really starting to come on. Boy, I really enjoy having a tight end like him. I hope C.J. Dupree is fine. Hoping Jimmy Stein will be able to join me here relatively soon. As we're going to bring the press conference to you, I don't know how long it'll be before Nick Saban comes on, but that was just a difficult watch. It sure would be nice. It's 24-6. It's 6-0, and we're not getting anything done. And then we hit the big pass to Kobe Prentice. It's almost like we play sort of street ball. And we're like, okay, we're not doing much. Let's throw it deep, see what happens. And the stat line, there was a stat line, and I'm going to pull it up on my phone here that I sent out to some friends. Listen to this. At one time, this was the passing. It was Kobe Prentice, 2 catches, 93 yards. Jermaine Burton, 1 catch, 44 yards. Knobloch, 1 catch, 29. Ja'Cory Brooks, 1 catch, 25. At the time, Milroe was obviously he had completed 5 passes. He was 5 of 7, I think, at that time. Bananas numbers. But what it does is tell you he's not really good at hitting this intermediate stuff. Now, the Knobloch pass at the end was nice, but that was also a great play by Knobloch. Dangerous pass. Against Georgia, that may be picked. We're not playing Georgia, though. So Jimmy just texted me, by the way, said it could be about 6 to 8 minutes. He's dealing with foot traffic leaving the game. And just some other things that I wrote down. Seth McLaughlin, still not great at these snaps. I mean, we had another miscommunication on a snap, and it wasn't crazy loud in there. I don't know how many of you guys that are watching this live went to the game, but it was not crazy loud in there. I didn't go, but I know people that did, and it just wasn't that crazy loud. In fact, it was sort of meh, which is what to be expected. 11 o'clock kickoff against Arkansas. You're not going to be super fired up. I understand that. I'm not mad at the crowd. I'm just saying there's no reason for a miscommunication on a snap with that. At one time in the game, I said, will we ever run wide again? I'm so tired of running directly into the line when that's not working. And we finally did run wide a couple of times, and it worked out. Jam Miller, if we had handed off to Jam Miller, I want to say it was the play just before the big touchdown to the first touchdown to Kobe Prentice. If we had handed off to Miller, I think he might still be running. I mean, he looked like he had a lot of room there, but Milroe kept it, and that was probably the play all along, was for Milroe to keep it. Kudos to Will Reichert. He's the all-time leading scorer in SEC history. We knew this was coming, but it's just wonderful that he was able to survive in advance to get this. The left tackle, still a major problem. These are all just things I wrote down that I'm going to just throw out there. Left tackle is such a major problem. I don't know what to do. When we might be able to survive it for a while, but if we play, I'll tell you, you want to know some irony? The team I'd probably least like to play right now, maybe Michigan. And that's the team I think we're more talented than, but They would be just disciplined enough to beat the heck out of us. I really believe that. I'm not sure which Latham is playing best, Jamarian or JC. I think it may be Jamarian Latham. And who would have had money on that before the season? Not many of y'all, I bet. Justice Haynes gets in the game. First play, not much. Second play, nice. But he gets blown up on a blitz. And that's probably why he didn't play as much. He gets blown up. I mean, just eviscerated. And that's probably why he didn't play as much. So I've been calling for it as much as the rest of y'all. I'm not trying to say that I wasn't calling for it. I have been. I've been looking for some kind of interjection. Jimmy says he's going to be going in 2 minutes here. Good to see Kobe Prentice and Ja'Cory Brooks back on the field, but Ja'Cory Brooks makes, as a drop late in the game, very late in the game. He has a motion penalty, which puts us at 1st and 15. We end up getting the first down to seal the game, but still not great. And then the sacks for and against. Again, giving up 5 sacks to Arkansas just hurts my heart. I don't know about the rest of y'all. Just hurts my heart. It's just not – it's weird that we're giving up so many sacks now with a quarterback that is eerily similar to KJ Jefferson in the sense that he's really big, really strong, and he's even faster and I would say more mobile. So how are we giving up so many sacks? Terrion Arnold had a nice sack, and then I thought they were going to blow the play dead, and they didn't. KJ Jefferson gets out of it. That's a sticky wicket because what happens is if you don't call that play dead, and okay, from now on, then if somebody comes in and hits, which you would consider to be quote unquote late, I don't know that you can call the penalty on that anymore. So I hope they don't do that. Still waiting on the Saban press conference to start. Definitely will get that on here as soon as it does start. Want to tell everybody really quickly about some of our sponsors here. I'm really having a hard time dealing with this win. I mean, I was really beginning to get to the point that we were going to lose that game. Just unbelievable to think that it came down the way it did. But I want to tell everybody about LinkedIn right now. You know how I feel about LinkedIn. Love LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team, helps you find them faster, and helps you find them for free. All you got to do is go to LinkedIn Jobs, add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile, and spread the word that you are, yes, hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and who you'd like to hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to. It helps you find them faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions may, and I bet they do, apply, but it doesn't matter because it's awesome. Go check out LinkedIn Jobs. You'll love it. Reading a few of the comments before Jimmy gets in here. Arkansas isn't a bunch of bums. They have played everyone close, had leads late in several games. Okay, sure. James Bizzle, first of all, I appreciate your watching. And I agree with you. All that's true. Alabama's up 24-6 at the half. We got to win that. Or 24, maybe 21-6 at the half, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. And we got the ball first. We got to win that game big. Finish that mother. I mean, what happened to make his ass quit? We didn't make anybody quit. And Dexter Wright says Milroe wasn't the problem. I agree. I'm not saying Milroe's the problem. I don't want you to think I'm saying that. What I'm saying is, as Jimmy will be joining us now, Jimmy, welcome to the broadcast. I'm just
had a little walk back there from the stadium.
Yeah, some of the comments here, and I'm just going to let you jump right in live. But so I was reading a comment from Dexter Wright said Milroe isn't the problem. I agree. Milroe's not the problem. Milroe is what he is. He's going to give you – I read off some stats, and I texted you and some other friends of ours some stats, and I've already said it once, but I'll do it again here for the late comers because we have a lot of new people in here. When Milroe was 5 of 7 passing, listen to these catches for the receivers. It was Prentice, 2 catches, 93 yards. Burton, 1 catch, 44. Knobloch, 129. Ja'Cory Brooks, 125. That's so weird. We had 190 something yards receiving on 5 catches, spread out pretty equally, everybody averaging close to 30 yards a catch. And what happened, though, is in the second half, we couldn't hit the intermediate stuff. It was there. We don't hit it. Luckily, Arkansas didn't take a lot of advantage of it. They took enough advantage to make my sphincter pucker up, but they didn't take enough advantage. And Sheila Kay says Milroe does hold the ball a long time sometimes. He does. But again, we got to deal with that. That's not changing now. We got to deal with that. So I'm not even mad about that anymore. I am mad about the offensive line getting up 5 sacks to Arkansas. That's unacceptable.
Was it only 5?
They're calling it 5.
Stadium, so I haven't reviewed the numbers, but
they're calling it 5. It felt like
it
more
seemed
now.
like 40.
Yeah,
I thought it was 40.
Yeah,
it was a lot. It was just the pressures and the sacks were just it's unacceptable. And some of the time it's on Jalen, but a lot of the time it's not. And I felt like a lot of it today was coming from the left tackle spot where we played a couple of different players and nothing seemed to work over there. I think it was a really poor game from a pass protection standpoint, but the run blocking at times was much better. At times, it's not consistent from the first minute through the 60th minute, but there were some encouraging things today, and how Alabama was able to run the ball from the running back position, I thought was really encouraging. And that's something Alabama can build on. That's something that we can take from this game and sort of build on. The passing was good early and it was really bad in the second half. He seemed to lose his confidence a little bit. And frankly, there were some wide receiver drops that we hadn't seen. It's funny how when things start going bad, it all goes bad. But there were some drops in that second half that shouldn't have been. And funny, we thought all season there would be drops, and there really hasn't been. But today there was. Of course it was. When it went bad, boom. And I think he had thrown 7 incompletions in a row, and then he hits a couple guys in the hands, and they drop it. And Benson's drop in particular was really bad. But gosh, that was nerve-wracking. Defensively, they played incredible in the first half, really giving up nothing. I think in the first half, they gave up 98 yards and 3 first downs in the whole first half. So we were suffocating them. And then when it went bad, it went bad. I think overall, I think my takeaway is going to be, we got to be a little mentally tougher than that. I mean, it's easy to play well when you're playing well, but when it starts going bad, someone's got to step up and stop it. And the defense finally did. I think after Arkansas's last score, they didn't move the ball really at all after the last score. Let's see what Coach has to say.
Yeah, I'm about to put it on there right now, Jimmy.
I'm expecting him to be supportive.
Yeah, I think he will.
On the third down stop, we get grabbing the guy by the face mask after the play.
That was a huge play.
To me, is
that face mask changed everything.
Bad. I mean, you can say what you want, but a guy does that, he's putting himself ahead of what's best for the team, and putting yourself in harm's way of having a chance to win. And then they go down the field and score. The momentum of the game changes. We go 3 and out on offense. Have a couple drop balls, miss a couple throws, and not executing, not hitting on all cylinders. Let the other team back in the game, but had the resilience to take the clock at the end of the game and not give them the ball back, which is really, I think, important in the game. But hopefully we can learn how to beat the other team, not just win the game, but beat the other team, which means you got to play for 60 minutes. You got to execute, do your job, have discipline, do it one play at a time for 60 minutes in the game. Look, if we didn't have the intensity we needed in the second half, that's on me. It's my responsibility. I always get asked what the halftime message was, but obviously this one is not worth repeating. So why would we even talk about it? Obviously it wasn't very good. So, but anyway, we got a lot that we can learn from. Got a lot of respect for this team. I told our team, I said, this is going to be a different kind of fight, right? Because You know, Sam is an offensive line guy. He's a tough guy. He's a physical guy, and their team is going to keep fighting in the game no matter what. They always do when they play us. So we need to be ready for that. And obviously didn't make that point as well as I needed to.
So what do you think led to the improvements in the running game in the second half and also having a deeper running back rotation today?
Well, you know, we ran the ball really well the first time we had it in the second half. I mean, we had 3 or 4 really good runs. You know, look, we think we got 4 running backs that can play. So we're going to play them when we feel like we have an opportunity to play them. So that's always the plan. Have we always been able to do that? No. You know, sometimes the game doesn't dictate it. But you know, I'm glad to see all those guys got to play, and I think they all had, you know, good moments.
Coach, do you think the slow start in the second half was because of being up going into halftime and then being satisfied with that?
Well, it's 2 games now. You know, we came out a little flat on defense at Mississippi State when we were ahead at halftime. But the first drive was really the best drive we had in the second half. When we got the ball and we got the kickoff, we went down the field. And didn't finish the drive. So, and again, just didn't execute the way we needed to execute. You know, from the 3rd down penalty, Jalen Key, we had like 1 or 2 penalties up until that point. We got multiple penalties after that. We got pass interference on 3rd down, which would have got us off the field again, and then had to kick a field goal. So, and we had multiple penalties on offense, which put us behind the 8 ball. So, you know, we just got to teach and learn from all these things and hopefully realize what it takes, not only in the game, but in the week of preparation, leading up to the game, so that you can go out there and play the way you need to play against really good competition. You know, I got a lot of respect for Arkansas's team. I mean, LSU beat them by 3 points. Ole Miss beat them by a touchdown, all on the road. All right, so this is not the kind of team that you all think they are. They're a good team, and that quarterback is a handful. I mean, you know, when a quarterback can take a major college football player and sling them off like a gnat on a fly's ass, I mean, a gnat on a cow's ass. I mean, that was one of the most impressive
That is a
plays I've ever
small
seen
gnat.
a player make. And you know, but
Yeah, I thought Terrion's a
said,
little bigger than that.
one guy gets a guy, you know, you got to hold on, you got to hang on, and we got to clean them up. We didn't clean them up. We made a couple of mental errors on defense in some of those drives that let them get back in the game too. You know, we run a stunt the wrong way. Quarterback, you know, runs for.
He's more frustrated than I thought he would be, but
when
I
it's
get
second
it.
long.
I feel you, Coach.
We learn from all these things.
Nick, there seemed to be like some indications from your Wednesday news conference that maybe you weren't happy with the way the team was practicing. Did that bear out in the second half today? And is it good to learn a lesson like this when you get a win?
I hope so. You know, I use you guys to send a message to the team. So if that's the message you got, I hope they got it on Wednesday. That makes sense? So it wasn't like I was just trying to lie to you all. I don't really lie. I try to be an honest person, tell you like it is. Don't always tell you everything you want to know, but sometimes.
Questions? Who else?
Sometimes the pass protection was there in terms of giving Jalen the time he needed for those deep balls. Sometimes it wasn't. What do you think it needs to take for it to get more consistent overall?
Well, we make some mental errors. We don't fan the first sack of the game. We fan it to the left. Left tackle doesn't fan. Guy runs in there unblocked, sacks the quarterback. A couple times a day we got beat physically. I mean, their rusher just beat our guy. And, you know, but we have to handle pressure better. I mean, we have to be able to handle pressure and stunts better. I mean, this was a big boundary pressure team. It's exactly what they did when 28 sacked the quarterback the first play of the game. Something we practiced a lot, get in the game. And with experience, I think our guys will learn from every one of these things and hopefully be able to get it corrected.
Will Riker set the SEC points record today. What has he meant to this team, and what does it mean for him to come back and achieve these goals this year?
Well, I'm extremely happy for Will. Honestly, I don't really keep up with those types of things, but really happy for him. You know, he has been probably as good a player at his position, even though he's a specialist, as anybody that we've ever had here. and he's even a better person. And, I think that he wanted to come back and try to improve, his kickoffs so that he would have a better chance to be successful in the NFL. And I think this is one of the good things that name, image, and likeness brings to players, that a guy didn't have to be poor and not be able to earn money and be able to come back and do that as a college player, as opposed to, going to the draft, being a free agent, possibly not making the team, and then you're out. So that's one of the very good things, I think, about name, image, and likeness, and players having opportunities to have a better quality of life while they're in college, because they can stay and enhance their career when they need to. And Will was smart enough to understand that that was something that could benefit him in his future.
Couple more, so Trevor.
Coach, do you have an update on CJ Dupree and Trez Marshall?
I don't think they're bad hurt. One guy's got a pulled muscle, the other guy's got bruised ribs. So I can't tell you the extent of the injuries. I don't even think we know that yet.
We'll finish up, Joe.
Coach, with Malachi not playing today, how did you think that Terry Arnold and Caleb Downs played the star position? And specifically, how do you think the communication went on the back end without Malachi Moore?
Yeah, well, Malachi is a huge asset for us because he's the most experienced player in the interior to make calls and make adjustments. And I do think the guys played, better having a week of preparation than what we did, a week ago. It was tough when he went out because everybody hadn't practiced enough at those positions to do the things we needed to do. But I thought both guys did a pretty good job today. We actually played Caleb when they were in what we call silver people, which is 12 personnel, 2 tights and 2 wides. We played Caleb at star, a little bigger guy, a little more physical against the runs. And when we played against 3 wideouts or more, we played nickel, where Terrion was, the star. So, and I think Christian Story stepped up and did a pretty good job out there. Number 9 did a pretty good job. Trey did a pretty good job for us. So those guys were able to take advantage of their opportunities. We're hopeful. Malachi actually even went out and warmed up today. We weren't going to play him in the game, but he's getting close. So hopefully he'll continue to make progress.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. And hey, it was great. Great homecoming crowd, great enthusiasm. I think the enthusiasm that the crowd showed at the end of the game was really helpful to the team. It affected them a little bit.
All right, Jimmy, I'm going to just go ahead and cut that off because
sure.
frankly, I mean, now it's just going to be a lot of thank the crowd, whatever, which is what he's got to do. A couple of things. First of all, I got a text from another buddy of mine who's incredibly smart. And he said, I think we're going to lose the next 3 games, meaning Tennessee, LSU, and Kentucky. And I said, dude, that's recency bias. Just hang on. I know you're bad. I am too. And he said, well, my recency bias is because of our last 7 games. And he said, did you know we broke a 20-year SEC record by allowing 4 more sacks for 6 games in a row?
Wow.
That's disgusting.
It's surprising based on our personnel. It is surprising, and it's going to be a problem when we play teams that are exceptionally good at rushing the passer. I'm not so sure that I would say Arkansas is, and look what we allowed. I'm not near anywhere that. I like our chances against Tennessee a lot. I think today was a combination of a bunch of things. We talked about this a lot this week about how many pieces were in place for this to be the sleepy, flat performance. It's typical of college football teams. The 11 a.m. kick is a huge thing. And then throw it in, Coach Saban, he addressed it in the press conference. They didn't have a good week of practice. I think coming down from that road win at A&M, this team's a little young to handle success. And I think that was the thing this week. They didn't handle success well, and it almost cost them. They did get a nice lead in the first half. I thought the second quarter they played really well. And again, there were some things to build on. We ran the ball better than we'd been running it. I was pretty impressed with Jace, Roydell, Jam, and Justice. I haven't said that all year in a game.
Jimmy, hold that thought. Jimmy, hold that thought because I want to tell everybody about FanDuel. I want you to finish this thought when we come
course.
back. Snap into
course.
action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book right now. New customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That is like getting free money, y'all. Go to FanDuel.com. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, all that stuff, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel is official partner of the NFL. And if you, for whatever reason, took Alabama minus 19.5 on FanDuel today, you are what I call. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, just kidding. I did a loser sign for people listening on the
Yeah, I took Arkansas on my office pool betting thing that I do.
Pretty smart.
I thought that, well, I said it would be 34-17. So, I mean, now that's obviously not how it played out. So I was no genius there. I thought Alabama would win close to that 19.5 number. They did not. It was very flat. It was very ungood. And Coach Saban pointed out, defensively, we had played really well until the Jalen Key personal foul turned the game around.
That turned the game around. 100%.
Turned the whole game around. Because defensively, we've been strangling them, and then we no longer were at that point, and that's what made the game close. Offensively, for whatever reason, once we hit that 24 number, we were stuck there, and it was not going to move because we weren't moving the ball. We couldn't do it consistently enough on the ground. And that was probably the worst stretch of passing we had all year, which is a tribute to Milroe that we get to game 7 before we go through a stretch like that. But that was definitely his worst stretch of accuracy, on the season. So congratulations, it took to game 7 to get there. But it did happen, and it almost cost us.
There's so much irony too, Jimmy. Like, how do you have the first half he had, and you have 200 and something yards, and you're throwing it deep, and you're averaging 30 yards a pass, and in the second half you couldn't connect your Bluetooth speakers to your iPhone. I mean, there was nothing that connected, nothing.
Yep.
And then your best pass of the day in a sea of long passes was the last pass to Knobloch, which it was a little dangerous, but it was a good pass. He knew where to go, and he, just like against Ole Miss, he took a big hit.
Yeah, it was a gut. I'm not sure if guts is the right term for it, but I'll tell you this, in the stadium, when that ball was in the air, it felt like it took 9 minutes for the ball to get to Knobloch. I was like, the ball was in the air for a long, long time, but he had to float it. I mean, the linebacker was between him. If he threw it directly to Amari, just threw it directly to him, it would have been picked off. There was only one way to get the ball to him. It required a touch throw. Hey, give Milroe credit, an intermediate touch pass, and he made it. But boy, it was nerve wracking.
I can't tell sometimes with Milroe. And again, I don't want people to think, I know Milroe is our best option. I've given in to that. He is. And when he's on, he's a lot of fun. Oddly, he's not a very good runner this year. He's just not. I know he had a big run against Mississippi State. I'm not so worried. He had a nice couple of runs against Middle Tennessee State. I'm not worried about those. And he did pick up a big first down today late. But I thought he should have gotten 15 more yards out of it. He just didn't hit the right hole. There's something about his running that ain't right now. But I can't figure out if Milroe is a brilliant quarterback with occasional brain farts or if he's a bad quarterback with occasional brilliance. I can't figure it out.
I would say you described a young, inexperienced, but talented quarterback. And I think that's it. Now he is gaining experience and he should be better in game 7 than he was in game 1. But improvement's never linear. There's going to be stops and starts. I've said before many times that I think he was probably due a clunker. I'm going to count that as the clunker, even though it was really not the first half because he played really well out of the gate, I thought. But I thought the big thing to me is in terms of a takeaway that's a real positive, as we said all week on on BOL. I know Travis Ryer taught me into this on BOL. Me and Travis were both adamant. We're going to see Justice Haynes this week in the first half. And we did. And we didn't know that. Steph doesn't tell us stuff. We just assumed based on how everything would go. We both predicted that Justice Haynes in the first half. And then Alabama would run the ball better. I said Jace would have a huge game. That was wrong. But he did have one of his better games. And we did run the ball well. I think if we can put the Milroe when he's throwing it well and Alabama when they're running it well together, they're going to be pretty good. But you know, you need to do that soon because Tennessee is not going to be a pushover. But neither is LSU, Kentucky, or Auburn.
Here's the problem, Jimmy. While Haynes on his second carry was awesome. I mean, it was a run that we were like, oh my God, that's what we need.
That's good.
He also got, and you might not have seen it because you were at the game. He got blowed up. I mean, lit up in a blitz one time. It wasn't.
All right.
And this guy.
We figured that's why we hadn't seen him.
Exactly.
I mean, we figured that's why, because people were like, why don't we see justice? Why don't we see justice? Well, that's why. And we're having enough problems with that. You know, we don't need to add to it. But anyway, it's a win. And hey, as far as I'm concerned right now, I'm not doing any 24-hour rule. It's Tennessee week starting right now.
And let me say this too. Here's something else that was very fortuitous for Alabama. Late in the game, I think it was that play where Jalen Milroe ended up running around the end for a first down. I'm going to have to go back and see. But say we ran the play clock down to the very last second. We got the snap off before there would have been a penalty, but Saban had already called a timeout. We hit Jermaine Burton right in the hands. Would have been a first down. He dropped it. Now, maybe he heard the whistles and it wasn't a big deal, but you would think just muscle memory would say, I got to catch it. And so thank the good Lord above, Saban got that timeout. Saban once again proves why he's the GOAT. So, Jimmy, let's go ahead and end it right here. Hey, man, thank you, guys. There were over 250 people in here at one time. Y'all are the best. We love y'all. Thank you so much. Jimmy, we will talk about when we're going to get a pod out for tomorrow. And until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.